Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. My Deadlights.
Down here in the deep blue sea. Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. Minisode. I am Mini Sam.
I am Mini Leslie, bringing you the miniest of mini episodes.
Mini. Today is brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Can we sponsor them?
Probably not. This will
No. We might
copyright
have to
infringement.
just blur it out.
Blur it. We are now sponsored by insert
Beep.
beer name here.
Just like
Insert beer. Copyright. That was a great sip and smile. Michelob's gonna love that.
I don't think I will get hired. I did do beep modelo commercial.
You
Just
did?
it's a promo. Yeah, so it never aired.
Oh, that's cool.
It was just like, this is an idea.
Did you have to do the sip and smile?
Yeah, we did drink at the beginning, but then we were shooting on the street next to a bar. And they were like, you can't do that.
Oh.
So then we had to throw it away and pretend to drink it.
Oh, okay. You acted like you were drinking it.
Yeah, no longer method acting though.
Oh, losers. Well,
Losers.
little secret for those who listen and watch these minisodes or just episodes in general.
Mm-hmm.
There's alcohol involved.
There's alcohol.
There's alcohol.
Some of us have, others will.
I don't understand why you can't drink on this job. Actually, you know what? There were a couple of the 31 Days episodes. I do understand why I shouldn't have been drinking on the job.
Well.
Too much.
Yeah. Cut to the clip.
Oh, man.
It was great times.
That was good times.
Yeah.
That was very long and tired times. But
It definitely was, but my God, do we have something now?
it brought us here.
It brought us
It
here.
brought us here. That's cool.
We're having fun.
Yes, we are. So today minisode, kind of thought about this topic, honestly, because one of the, I was editing one of the other minisodes, and you mentioned something about seeing something in theaters rather than seeing it on streaming, or like vice versa or something.
Yeah.
And it just got me thinking about this idea of seeing a movie in theater versus seeing it on a streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that change it? What do we like better? And just, I mean, because streaming within the last 10 years has become absolutely insane.
And it's more importantly during the pandemic,
Yes.
where we couldn't go out and enjoy a movie in an enclosed space with other people.
Mm-hmm. Which I do appreciate that, because, we couldn't go outside for 2 years. So it was nice that they kept wanting to keep us entertained.
Well, yeah, not only that, but imagine spending millions of dollars for a movie that has to be halted. And by the first year where everything was just kind of quiet, everybody's like, well, we've kept working on this. We've already paid people for this movie. So let's just release it, but online. Because, streaming services will pay for stuff like that,
Yeah.
I don't know how much money they've lost, but
yeah, I
better
feel like,
to have it out there.
as far as, the money goes, I don't know those numbers either.
Yeah.
I guess for the purposes of this conversation, I mean, we could talk about the money, but I don't really know what I would say about it. I guess I'm talking more about, the experience.
Right.
Of seeing a movie on your living room TV or on your computer screen versus going to a theater and having a room full of people that you're experiencing this with, and how that changes things.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think there's value in both. I mean, I've
There is.
thought about it since I've been just kind of thinking about this idea to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to weigh it in my head of the pros and cons of each. And I do think that there's a fair argument for both. Starting with the theater, going to the theater, because that was the first thing. I mean, that's a whole experience. That's
It's
a night out.
a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You plan it out, and if you don't, it's impromptu, and then you just like go and see a movie.
Mm-hmm. You get that. They get the previews before.
Yeah.
You get the popcorn. You get the candy.
The popcorn. Are you a snack person?
I am a snack. I'm a candy person.
I am a candy.
Heavy candy.
And I love popcorn with jalapenos. Really good. And I love going to a theater. I love the whole experience. I like the camaraderie of sitting there, enjoying a film that we're either really big fans of, or this is a new thing and we're all excited to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you're sitting in a theater full of strangers and all experiencing this thing collectively.
I love
Unique
the gasping. I love just like the genuineness that like movies can bring out in someone, just like the honest reactions.
You mentioned this to me a couple times before, but going to the movies was a big thing for you and your
my
family.
family.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We would go to the movies, if not every weekend, every other weekend. Sometimes we would go Saturday and Sunday, or all of Saturday. So they were events, and my family and I enjoy movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember watching TV shows together at all, except for like The Big Bang Theory, but that was like later on, and I wasn't really into that. But yeah, like I think I would collect movie like tickets as well. So for many years, I had over 200 movies.
Wow. I mean, and it becomes such a because I was the same way too. Going to the movies was something that we would do for birthdays, something we would do for holidays. It was a special marked occasion, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also specially marked because you're experiencing it with your family too,
Mm-hmm.
and the people that you're with become a part of that experience. When you talk about like going to see a movie, you don't just talk about that movie. You're like, oh, me and these people went to this movie together
Mm-hmm.
and we had the best time or whatever, or we hated it. But it's always a we thing. It's not just like I was in my room on Netflix by myself and I watched this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like nowadays we talk about that experience a lot more. It's like, did you see this? Did you see that? Or did you see this episode? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But in high school, well, I like grew up in a really small town, so that was the only thing to do. We only had one movie theater, and that was the thing to do. And plus, like, me and my friends didn't drink, didn't smoke, and we just enjoyed. Yeah, what? This is juice.
Making up for it.
I know, like all in this week. But that's what we did. We would go and grab burgers and then go and see a movie.
One of the most memorable theater experiences for me was The Dark Knight. When The Dark Knight came out, we went to go see
it was on my birthday.
The midnight premiere, and that was the first midnight premiere of a movie that I'd ever seen. And it was packed. I mean, every seat was full. The entire theater was completely at capacity, and it was one of the most reactive and involved audiences I've ever been a part of. Every moment, people were like, yeah. People clapped at the beginning of the movie.
Good.
People cheered when, like, the bad guy was defeated. It was just, like, so fun because the movie was great, but also everyone was experiencing the greatness together, and everyone was loving and feeding off of each other's reactions. And it was just, I'll never forget that. As one of the most like genuinely fun movie experiences that I've ever had. And I mean, I couldn't get that if I was watching it at home.
It was great because when it came out, it was July.
Yep.
July 19th.
It was summer.
My
Yep.
birthday's July 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So by midnight, growing up in a small hometown, I would have majority of my friends in the theaters, like literally in the whole building.
Yeah, because
so
you worked
we would,
there, right?
I worked there, but also like I had friends from high school, like in theater 7, and I'm like in theater 1, and they would like be texting, and then they all came over. Like a lot of my friends and a lot of the people that I knew in that one like movie theater room, they all started like singing happy birthday for me.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So it was really lovely.
That's very
The only
cool.
thing that sucked is that is also a movie that changed movie experiences for the rest of, like, from that point on.
Yeah.
Because of that shooting that happened in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And working at the movie theater was, I mean, from that point on, made me realize, like, even this space that's so eclectic and just like nostalgic for some, and just a great experience for everybody,
Escapism
is
for a lot of
now,
people.
yeah, exactly. You get to sit there and not think about the horribleness in your life, but then it's like brought to you.
Yeah.
So
It's such a... And I mean, you're totally right. Like, that completely changed, first of all, how people felt at movie theaters,
Mhm.
and then just changed the frequency of people going to movie theaters. People, I'm sure you noticed, slowed down from going to movie theaters because of that. People were scared.
yeah,
I mean, it should be a space where the only fear that you feel is from the movie that you're
from
watching.
the movie.
And that's because you're so enthralled in the worlds that you're watching these stories happen. But reality literally just busted in and kind of ruined it. Which is really unfortunate.
It is.
It's very unfortunate.
From that point on, so you mentioned that was your first movie that you went on midnight.
Yeah.
I would go frequently at midnight for all the, like, Iron Mans and Captain America and Avengers, Spider-Mans. Like, we are very nerdy people, me and my family. That we would stay up until midnight.
Well,
and that movie just changed that. We no longer started at midnight. We would start like at 10 or 9. And then every other hour or every hour there'd be a movie playing. But it just, like, spread it out.
Yeah.
So then there wasn't a whole building of people watching at the same time.
Yeah. It just changed that feeling that you had. Because every time someone would walk in, you'd be like, who's that person?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Oh, they're just sitting
Why
down?
do they have a backpack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like that interesting time marker. It's like from then on.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that on top of the fact of a pandemic happened, no one can go anywhere. And even still, people are very cautious about who they're around and the amount of people that they're around. I think less people are willing to sit in a room full of strangers when you're, like, shoulder to shoulder with people you don't know.
Yeah.
So then that on top of it obviously changed how the theater experience was. At the same time, we have streaming services,
so easy at
coming
our
up.
fingertips.
At our fingertips. You can watch a movie at any time. Yeah, you can pull up a movie, watch it at any time. And that definitely around, like, the 2010s started to blow up. Netflix, and I mean, by now everything has a streaming service. And what I do like and I appreciate streaming services very much for is exposing us, the amount of stuff that you do have exposure to. I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think foreign films would have as much viewership in America, at least, if it wasn't for Netflix or HBO or whatever, because a lot of people wouldn't go to a movie theater and be like, I'm going to see a foreign language film. At least in America.
Yeah, because nobody wants to put in that extra energy into reading subtitles.
Right.
Which is a stupid lame-ass excuse, everybody.
Very lame.
There's so many foreign movies that are not just horror films that we enjoy, but, like, just in general. There's so many brilliant people in this planet that make amazing art, and you need to venture out from what you know, what you're comfortable.
And what I like is that the streaming services push it. Like, they push foreign, not only films, but TV shows too.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen a lot of German and Korean, Japanese, Mexican, Spanish, all these different movies and shows being not just on the platform, but pushed on the platform as, like, top pick. And I think that there would be a lot less of that if we didn't have these streaming services. I really think that the streaming services, I praise them for that.
Well, also, we wouldn't be, able to accomplish a lot of our movie watching experience if it weren't for the streaming platforms.
Exactly.
There's so many out there that carry a lot of the films, like a very big, broad amount.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, as much as I love technology, like new technology, it is scary as well.
Black Mirror.
I do. Yo, I love Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Stop it.
Technology is scary.
We're about to suck
As scary as
technology's deck.
I won't make the noise.
People can watch it.
People are watching, hopefully.
Yeah,
they probably turned it off.
I hope that was just music to your ears.
Blah, blah,
everybody.
blah. I'm sorry. I am sorry. That was
But
something to your ears.
You have to keep this.
Oh, it's in.
But
It's in.
as much as I love streaming and I love the accessibility and just being at home, cozy up, especially during the winters, it's amazing. But that experience of being in a movie theater is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to go and support movies, that I'm excited for.
Yeah.
And I want to have a little bit more of an experience with the surround system, the big ass screen, comfy chairs, pop. I just want to indulge in that nostalgia. But I've noticed that I don't go out of my way for a lot of films.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we literally would be watching a trailer and be like, man, that looks good. But have no fucking idea or have any kind of love or nothing. Sometimes it's like you heard from people, that like a movie's going and you're like, I'm gonna go watch it.
I remember looking in the paper. I mean, like,
what's
the
playing? Paper.
Yeah, like, what's playing right now at the Times today?
I used
what's
to
that? I don't know.
lick my thumb and like press it onto the ink, and then all of a sudden you had like a movie poster on your thumb.
I mean, that's how Napoleon Dynamite, I went to go see in theaters at least 3 times. And that was just one that my mom just opened the paper and was like, what's playing today? What's this movie? Let's go check it out. It's PG. Let's go check it out. And we went and we loved it.
My mom and I did that with Bruno.
Ooh.
It was bad.
That's a little different.
Also, yeah, you don't want to see that with your mom.
Nah.
Yeah, and it was just her and I. And we were just like, what the fuck? But lately, when I've gone to the movie theaters, it's been bare. Like,
yes.
There's no one there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad to see. But the movie that actually brought a lot of people to go back into the movies, that I could tell from this past 2 years is Spider-Man.
Oh,
No Way Home. That movie theater was packed. Actually, all of it was packed.
Nice.
And I felt bad because the staff were, under
pressure.
under pressure for sure, because there wasn't a lot of them.
Gotcha. Oh, so they're understaffed.
Understaffed.
Gotcha.
There you go. But my God, was it? It reminded me of old days.
Yeah.
Even though we had to wear masks.
Well, and I hope that, knock on wood, things are opening back up again. People are willing to go out and do things. Mask mandates are lifting, all this kind of stuff. I hope that people miss it as much as we do too, and want to actively go out and do it. Like, hopefully this summer we see theaters being filled more and people going out and doing that more, because it is such a unique experience. I mean, they can be open still, but if you go to a movie with no one in it, that's kind of taking away part of that experience of communally enjoying this and going through this catharsis together. Because,
I mean, if no one else is joining us and it's just me and like 3 other people, might as well have just done that at home and invite people over. Yeah, exactly. And that's a cool thing about streaming too. I was going to say, we watch it at his home with a big ass projector, screen, and they actually have couches and like movie theater
chairs.
chairs.
Yep.
And a good ass amount of people can enjoy a movie
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
So why not spend that $30 to rent that movie for 30 people or
Yeah.
so, you know, in your own home?
Yeah. And we used to do, Mike, who's been on the podcast before, would host every Monday Movie Mondays.
Mhm.
And I mean, we've had, you know, groups of 30 people here, and even that amount of people is great. And we've had, you know, on the podcast, even just 8 to 10 people together, and that's super fun too.
That was amazing. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, just doing it with a group of people, it just changes it. You know, it just makes it, to me, more fun. And I love horror in that way too, because some people, it's funny to see what some people get scared at and what some people don't get scared at.
It is enjoyable to see other people get scared.
Making fun of like the movie, or making fun of like us for being scared at that thing, or for that jump or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you know, it adds to the experience so much.
It does.
It really does. And I'm glad there's at least 2 of us that are going to watch each of these movies every week, because we at least are sharing it together.
Yeah.
And for those listeners that have never watched this movie movies with us, Leslie commentary is always on. She talks the whole thing, very welcomed. Sometimes you need to talk through it, you know?
Yeah, especially for really hard things. But I'll say I can't help myself.
Ah.
And I mean, I try to dial it down for when I go to the movie theaters. But there are certain things that I'm like,
don't go in there.
What are you doing? Stupid. But yeah, so it is enjoyable to be able to see it and not have a filter.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like streaming versus theater, there's, in the new world that we're in now, I hope that there's 2022. I hope that there's a place for both, because I do think there is value in both, and I don't want one to like kill the other. Mm-hmm. Which unfortunately it kind of feels like that's where it's going, where theaters are dying and not many people are going to theaters. I really hope that as the world kind of opens up, that kind of becomes a thing that people do again, and also can enjoy streaming services.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I do love binge watching a show sometimes.
I do too, and I am happy for it to be there.
Yeah.
For when I'm hungover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
One thing I do want to say quickly is that I think this is just like the fear of the new generation coming in, and the more technology we're adding to the world, it does kind of seem like we are eliminating then the past. And I'm sure people who grew up with actually going to see a play in theater, and then for movies to come out, that must have killed a lot of theaters and people's imaginations, because they no longer can be in a live performance experiencing it. So it's just things that we're adapting, hopefully never killing, unlike these horror films sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and thinking about it, even like when they were going from black and white movies to color movies, people were like, you don't want that, destroys the movie.
From no sound to sound.
There's always going to be a pushback to change, and there might be downsides to change, but the change is going to happen no matter what. It's just about using that change to your best advantage.
Film to projecting.
Exactly. Film to digital. And
I was there for that. I was working at a movie theater that did film still.
Wow.
And we had a big conversation amongst the employees just based on whether we liked it or not. And we were like, well, we can't fucking change it.
No.
Because, like, first of all, we're just employees, but also, like, we can't help it. We can't help it. It is a lot more accessible and easier, because it doesn't provide, like, a manager or an employee to do that specific task of cutting and editing.
Yeah.
And also the editing's already done for you. For you.
Yeah. And it's just like a thing of like, change is coming. You either jump on the bandwagon or you are left behind. And I think that no matter what, nostalgia will always keep these old things that people love around.
Mm-hmm.
We see Polaroid cameras staying around. We see people continuing to use black and white even. You know, that isn't dead. People still shoot movies in black and white. It's just about changing. You know, things are changing. And hopefully there's room for both streaming and movie theaters in the new frontier.
In the new frontier.
United States of Deadlights.
Deadlights. Yay!
Yay.
So, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Keep watching the movies on Netflix and
Please
go
do.
to the movie theaters too.
Yeah, and
check it out.
We hope that with each episode it encourages you to not just see the movies that we're talking about, because you don't necessarily have to, but we would love for you to, but also just go and support in general.
Yeah.
Like, go see a local play, go see a concert, just support artists, because I think it's very important, especially in a time, it was there for us in the pandemic, so it's not dead.
It's not.
You know? It's gonna keep going, and just go and support. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love movies. They've always been around, even in the loneliest times. They're always there for us.
They're always there.
Thank you, movies.
Thank you, movies.
All right, well, let's get out of here, huh?
I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Mini plug.
You can find me on Instagram, Color Me Leslie.
And me, I am BP Richie T. Also, check us out at the Deadlights Pod.
Deadlights.
Also, check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we are recording this at. But until next time,
Let's get mini spooky.
Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun.